Hello, everyone. My name is Christina. I hope everyone can hear me. Yeah, we're all good. Okay. I would just like to begin by welcoming and thanking you all for joining us for this edition of the WLCU Youth Community Talks. This is an initiative that was established in order to bring Lebanon and its diaspora closer by sharing experiences and knowledge on various topics related to Lebanon. Today, it's our pleasure to welcome Mr. Sam Lahoud as our featured guest, one who will enlighten us with his knowledge on the contemporary Lebanese cinema and the important role youth play in strengthening and composing towards society's relevant topics and storylines, as well as touching on the potential barriers faced throughout the process of responsible filmmaking. Mr. Sam Lahoud is an individual holding an abundant amount of passion towards the cinema and film industry. Starting his career in 1994, he has written, directed, and produced theater plays, films, and documentaries, which have received many national and international recognitions. Active in cross-cultural productions, permanently working on different film projects, Sam is the founding chair of Beirut Film Society and a number of major organizations globally, focused on empowering voices in the cinema and film world. Before I hand it over to Sam, I'd just like to mention two things. The first being, over the duration of the talk, if anyone does have any questions, we encourage you to write them to the WLCU Q&A user. And during the last 15 minutes of the call, we'll be dedicating time for Sam to go over your questions and give his answers. And as well, just really quickly, we'd just like to shed some light on a WLCU youth initiative that we are working with, currently taking place during these hard times. Feed the Hungry is an initiative aimed to alleviate hunger for needy families in Lebanon through the donation of food care packages. If you are interested in supporting, the link will be sent in the chat. We encourage you to take a check and see how you can play your role. So I will be sharing in the chat Sam's contact information and the link for the Feed the Hungry initiative. Without further ado, I will share the floor with Sam.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you for WLCUY for this initiative and for this session.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone who are attending. I really appreciate that you are dedicating time from a Saturday night, maybe Saturday morning in other places, but in Lebanon it's 9:10 p.m. now. I really enjoy being with you. This is my third live, in fact, you know. I'm not used to going live. And in fact, also, I prefer the direct interaction between people. So I'm used to teach in a classroom. And this semester, we're obliged to give classes online. So I got used on the, on the fact that I can sit and discuss with a computer screen. And after the end of the semester in May, I decided to go a couple of sessions regarding Lebanese cinema and also film festivals around the world, just a discussion with interested people. I would like first to start with a small introduction about my work. As Christina said, I started my career in 1994. I was 19 years old, and I started as a musician and as a photographer. Photography was my long-time hobby. I used to photograph since I was 10 years old. And then when I started studying audiovisual studies, radio, TV, and film, I brought my first camera and I started working as a photographer. So in 1994, I had the start of my career, like professional career as a musician. I used to play and to teach music and to work as a photographer in a couple of magazines and as freelance photographer for events like weddings and other similar things. And then in 1994, also I started teaching classes as a volunteer in a school for orphanage, you know, as for kids, girls mainly, who had social problems. And I was a teacher of physical education. It's totally far off what I am now. I'm not that active in sports, but at that moment I used to teach. I taught for 2 years physical education for young adolescent girls. And then in 1997, I graduated from school with a BA in audiovisual and film, and I started an MA in script writing. And in 1998, I started teaching arts education in a high school for high school students. In fact, in 3 schools. I was a full-timer, and this period I discovered my passion to teaching. I think till today, I find that the best moment of my life is when I stand in a classroom in front of the students and listen to them and talk to them. And I decided to take teaching as my career. Teaching arts mainly. In 2000, I started teaching at university, NDU International University. After I finished my master's in script writing, I took a couple of classes in directing actors in Los Angeles. I went and I did some workshops and seminars on directing actors, which added to my knowledge in script analysis and in character analysis and in directing. And then I did another master's degree in media studies, in media law and ethics, which was my concentration, television management and production, and media law. And I also studied a lot of music. I studied for 17 years music. I played 3 instruments, and I finished all my theoretical classes, and I used to teach for a certain period. But in 2003, I stopped all activities related to photography and music, and I focused on cinema and theater. Between 2001 and 2011, I wrote, co-wrote, directed, and produced 11 theater plays. Most of them, they were théâtre de poche, small plays with students, but they were open for the public, of course. And the last 3 plays in 2009, 2010, and 11, they were open to the whole public, and one of them was a national hit. And then in 2000, so this is between 2001 and 2011, 2012. And meanwhile, I was appointed as administrative for administrative work at Notre Dame University as director of department. I was assigned to establish the Department of Audiovisual at Notre Dame University, and I was director of department between 2006 and 2012. Then chairperson for media studies between 2012 and 2014. Then director of communications, a part of the office of the president. I founded and headed the office of communications at NDU for 3 years till 2017. In 2013, I produced my first feature film. I co-produced my first feature film with my colleague Nicolas Khabaz, a film written by Georges Khabaz, which was a really challenge for us, because before that time, I didn't produce any or directed any film. I used to be in theater, and it has been like 10 years without producing real films. You know, we used to do some small public service announcements or co-produce a short film here and short film there. And I was also the direct supervisor of short films at NDU for graduation films since 2002. Between 2002 and today, I supervised more than 1,000 short films. Corrected the script, read it, and worked with the students step by step toward finishing their graduation film. Between 2013 and 2020, now 2019, I produced 4 feature films and a couple of documentaries. The first film, as I said, was Waynon Void, and this film was a life changer for us because I started discovering this passion also, to rediscover this passion for film production and working in committees and meetings and curriculum development, teaching, developing new courses. So it was more inside the academia, but of course, I didn't leave the set at any moment because we used to go with students, produce some short films. I did a co-production between Lebanon and the United States in 2015. In 2005, I apologize. And then I co-produced later after Waynon. Waynon, as I said, it was a hit, a very low budget film, independent film, directed by young filmmakers who are the first time filmmakers in a feature film. 7 students graduated from NDU and they co-directed the film. And it was a real challenge for the producers, for me and for my colleagues, and for Josh Khabbaz, who also supervised the project, to work with young, talented students who are working with the most professional, famous actors in the country. So we had a lineup of 14 Class A actors and actresses, and the directors were students, all the team were students and graduated students. So it was a real challenge, and this film ended up by visiting and participating in more than 35 film festivals around the world. It was premiered in Dubai as part of the competition, and it took more than 22 awards. I stopped counting a long time ago. So this film encouraged us to try to move into another production and another production. And we started launching projects here and there on different channels, developing projects with my colleagues and my friends. And by the way, I always work in a group. I cannot work alone. So when I write as a team. We write scripts as a team with my students and my friends. And when we make a film, we work we start from the beginning as a team. So we don't start with one person and then try to recruit. I think the main strong point that I can brag of having is that I have a very good team and I have a very good colleagues. And those people, they are passionate, professional, they know the craft, and they give all themselves in the production. So to go back, the second film I did was a co-production between Lebanon and China on a film called Mido. We shot a small part, like 20 minutes in Lebanon. It was about a war journalist from China coming to cover the war in Syria. So in 2016, we did this film. I co-produced the Lebanese part of it. And then in 2018, I co-produced Good Morning with director Bahish Hajaish, who is one of the most important pioneer film directors in Lebanon. And now he's also writing another script, and we may produce it together. Also, the title of the new film is I Love You, Habbik. And I also produced last year, in 2019, a comedy titled C-Section, or Yurbo Ba'askun in Lebanese. But this film didn't go out in the theaters yet. We opened the film. The premiere was on October 17, and when we went out from the cinema, the country was on fire, and the revolution started. So we stopped the film, and then we rescheduled it on March 26, and then Corona came, and we stopped the film, and it's still waiting to be. Now with the economic crisis, producers in Lebanon will be able still to do some films. This period of staying at home in those 3 months, a lot of projects have been launched. You know that Lebanese people, as most of us, I think all of us are Lebanese or coming from Lebanese background, you know how much we love life and how much we don't surrender. And I think there is nothing coincidence. The myth of the phoenix bird is really, it is really engraved in us. It's like a part of our life, like this phoenix. By the way, if you Google it, I think they say it's an Egyptian mythology. In fact, it's a Phoenician mythology. And the problem with the Lebanese people that we don't know how to promote for our culture. So they say that the phoenix is Egyptian, and they say that Adonis is Greek. In fact, Adonis is a Phoenician god. They are Lebanese. And the phoenix is part of the Phoenician Canaanite Phoenicians because of the phoenix, so it cannot be Egyptian bird. So so this is the myth of the phoenix, that even from under the ashes knows how to fly back and go up. This is real. We can see it every day in Lebanon. We can experience it every day. Until now, we have, we all have our ups and downs when we are a little bit depressed. Yet, we can say that even during Corona, during people are staying at home, and during this harsh, very, very difficult and dangerous economic crisis we are passing through, still people are launching films and ideas and series and projects, and I receive every day either scripts to read and to give my opinion, or project suggestions or proposals to start a project here and there. So this is just a quick brief on, and now I'm here. So I would like to add, just, it's not about that I'm talking about myself, but I need to give to this introduction because most of you don't know me, and I want you to trust my information, so to know that I'm the expert in what I'm saying. So sometimes you have to tell people what you did in order to know that sometimes they can trust the information you give. I founded the Beirut Film Society as a movement 12 years ago, a movement called Cinema for a Cause. And we started it with my friends and colleagues and students. And today we will talk about Cinema for a Cause, about responsible filmmaking. Because independent filmmaking is most of the time responsible filmmaking, and most of the time it speaks about a cause. And all the films that I produced or worked in are films for a cause. Like Jamil, A Flying Soul was the biography of Dr. Jamil Zghaib, who has ALS disease. It's a very beautiful documentary about his life, very powerful story of hope and success. I was very, very privileged to produce this film. And Waynon is a film about the women who are waiting the man who disappeared during the war, about the disappeared, that we have 17,000 persons that was unknown destiny from the Lebanese war. We don't know where they are. Also Mido is about war in Syria, and it's a human story about rediscovering ourselves in times of war and in times of aggression. And Good Morning is one of the few films that speak about the third age, about people in their 80s and fighting against Alzheimer. It's a very beautiful black comedy. And even the comedy that we did last year, which is C-Section, is a film that addresses the difference in social status in Lebanon, social classes, and how we have to accept our differences and how we have to be united in order to go out from a crisis. When you see the film, hopefully this year in Canada, Christina, it will be in the festival. Soon it may be on Netflix or on a online platform, so people can see it. It's a very beautiful comedy, serious comedy about this social differences in Lebanon and the relation between the poor and the rich, in brackets, in a very beautiful hope, story of hope. We can say that we launched this movement before naming it Beirut Film Society. We used to say Cinema for a Cause, and we work under this, and we name it Beirut Film Society. And we organized a lot of film festivals, and we promote for Lebanese culture in the entire world. Like we program festivals, we recommend Lebanese films from Taiwan in the east till Hawaii in the west, and from Finland till South Africa. So we program film festivals, Lebanese films for film festival in the entire world, more than 50, 60 countries. Also, we stopped counting. We receive a lot of emails. They just want Lebanese films. And then we recommend and we send. And also we recommend films for the HFPA, the Golden Globes, for short films from the Middle East. And definitely we send out of those films, if we have good films, you know that Lebanese cinema is one of the best in the Middle East. So we sent Lebanese short films and Arab short films. And also now we are recommending also feature films for the HFPA for qualifying screenings for the Golden Globes. And other main festivals. In Lebanon, we organize 7 festivals, and in addition to Lebanese Film Festival in Canada, and soon, hopefully, the Lebanese Film Festival in USA. This is a short brief, and now we can move to talk about Lebanese cinema in general. Maybe it's good to base the discussion on the questions, and I'm sure that from the question we can cover everything related to Lebanese cinema. As you know that in the past couple of years, the world started hearing more about the Lebanese cinema, and they want to see more Lebanese films. And this is we can verify this by the amount of emails and of correspondence we receive from everywhere. Like in the past months, February and March, we programmed for Mexico for Kinoki Film Festival, and we programmed for Ghana, we programmed for Shanghai. So you can see how much the Lebanese films are now the trend for the Lebanese, for the festivals everywhere. They want to have Lebanese films, and I can say with a clear conscience that this is this goes because of all those militants that used to fight for the Lebanese cinema in the past 40-50 years. Those who established the Lebanese cinema, those who were teaching in the universities to build this new generation of filmmakers, and definitely at the end of all this built up and the association that were working in Lebanon and all this built up of this movement for the cinema of the youth, and then came Nadine Labaki and Ziad Douairi and took the nomination in the Oscars. So, and this was the hit for the Lebanese cinema, 2 consecutive nominations. I think this is a historical event. Add to this all the awards in the big festivals in Toronto and in Cannes, Venice, Berlin. Lebanese cinema is everywhere. So, and I have to say that we have to give this small remark that the Lebanese cinema is there because of independent individual efforts, either by filmmakers or by film associations, private film associations like Beirut Film Society and others. So without any, I don't like to use the word support, without any patronage or any sponsorship from any official public institution in Lebanon, including the Ministry of Culture. So everything official or public is absent in Lebanon, and all what you see now in the world, all this presence of the Lebanese cinema in Lebanese festivals, in film festivals, in very big film festivals, not like small screenings. I mean, like those on the top of the level. So the presence is due to all those efforts that were done from the 60s till now, even before. You know, the first participation of Lebanon in Cannes was in 1956, I think. Either 51 or 56. I have to refresh my memory. It was with the film of George Nasser, Ila Ain. And now, where do we go now? Ila Ain, I think so. This is the title of in English. So it was the first official selection in Cannes, and then we had a lot of participations, Maroon Baghdadi, Burhan Alawiyi, a lot of big names of individual militant and fighters for the Lebanese cinema. And now the people, everyone knows, of course, Ziad Douairi and Nadine Labaki because of their good work and their success, and because of the Oscars, definitely. I will conclude with one sentence before moving to the questions. It is a cinema for the youth. It is a cinema by the youth. The filmmakers that are pushing blood in the veins of the Lebanese cinema are between the age of 24, 25, and 45, 50. So this is the range of the age that they are the most active, the majority, I mean, of course, we have a lot of senior directors that they are very, very good high-level directors in the Lebanese cinema. Yet the majority are between the age of 23, 24, 25, and between the age of 50. And those people, they breathe with the issues and the causes of the youth. And they want to deliver our ideas and to deliver our thoughts, our fears, our daily struggle. And now I expect in the coming years, a lot of films that are really daring and revolting, which is due of the spirit of the revolution that was revived in the hearts and mind of the Lebanese youth due to the revolution of October 17. Of course, we are not talking politics. I may not agree on a lot of things that happened between October 17 and today, but we cannot, some of us may disagree on some things. However, we cannot neglect that this movement brought back the energy to the Lebanese youth and the dare to express their ideas and to express themselves better. And now I'll open it for everyone to ask your questions. You can also give an opinion. It's not only a question, so it's not a Q&A only. We can interact, talk, whatever you want to say. Even on Instagram, those who are on Instagram, you can because I'm I'm broadcasting live here, so we can also send your questions or opinion.
Thank you, Sam. Anyone has any questions, you can for sure unmute yourself and ask away. I personally have watched Good Morning, and I fell in love with it the instant it started, and I wanted more at the end. But for sure, Sam is someone to ask any question you have related to cinema, film, the industry. He will for sure give his insight. So thank you for sharing all of your experiences, Sam. And please feel free to ask any questions you may have.
In fact, Good Morning, while waiting for the questions,
yeah.
Good Morning was really a challenging experience. When Bahij Hajej, director Bahij Hajej, called me, he told me, I want to share a script with you and see if you can produce it. And we read the script. I have Nina here asking on Instagram, when will you collaborate with Georgia? Georgia, the country or the state? In fact, Nina means the country, Georgia. So soon, let's launch a project, Nina. Yalla. So when Bahij Hajej called me, I took the script and I read it, and I suddenly I felt it's a very atypical script without any climactic move, and two old men in their early 80s sitting in a cafe every day for 80 minutes, just coming every day and repeating the same action, solving crosswords, and just talking about how they are fighting or practicing in order to fight Alzheimer.
Yeah.
If you just think about the idea, you say it may be boring. But in fact, when I read it, and although we have like maybe a difference of age and generation between Bahij and myself, I told him definitely without any hesitation, I want to do this film. And imagine, Christina, the main characters of the film are in their 80s, and all the team are on their 20s. And this fusion between the energy that was present on the set, it was amazing. 15 days of discipline, of good work, and it ended by having a jewel.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, in Lebanon, the Lebanese audience is not attracted by such stories. The Lebanese audience, the mass, the big audience, they want just easy stories that just they don't want to talk with their brain. They want just to laugh and to see some farce. So there is a very big difficulty for filmmakers who want to make independent films to address the Lebanese audience. It's very tough to merge between the value and the popular.
Exactly.
And we can, of course, we can have a lot of examples of films that are popular and they are of a good value, definitely. But of course, we have a lot of trash films in Lebanon. We have a lot of trash films, films that they end whenever they are released. And people, they go and watch those films, and those films, they make a lot of profit. Like they make 1,000, 1,020, 100,000, 100, 120,000 entries, or 140,000, or maybe more. But those films, they are not at any moment representative for the Lebanese cinema. We cannot say that those are Lebanese cinema. Those are telefilms that they are played in a cinema theater.
I see.
So those films, they should be made for TV.
Yeah.
Because they are made with the quality of the TV, with the TV stars, with TV stories. Sometimes they are a sequel, like they are part of a series, like they do a film, but they put them in the cinema theater because they have the ability to distribute them on the cinema, and people, because of the hype they do on TV, they go and watch it.
Yeah.
So Good Morning is not part of those films. You know, you've watched Good Morning, and you can see it, I think, on Shahid still. I don't know if it's in the States, it's in the Middle East, I think.
Yes,
But
in the Middle East.
now we are trying to sell it also for other platforms. So Good Morning, when we screened it outside Lebanon, you cannot imagine the amount of success that it had. In Tunisia, in Morocco, in France, in Canada, in America. Excuse me, you were saying something.
Oh, I was just saying it's so relatable. People can relate to it. It's a message that is very easy to comprehend, but at the end of the day, it's so real. You know, it's something that is happening. It's powerful. So I think that's one of the big reasons why it was so accepted. But
exactly, and you cannot, people, they were getting, even those who are not Lebanese, they were getting the jokes, the humor, and they were laughing more. We had full houses in all festivals and all screenings we had outside Lebanon, and in Lebanon it did only around 4,000 entries, which is not good for a Lebanese. You know, it's even it didn't reach, I think, 4,000, 3,000 something.
wow.
But abroad, it did better, and they did well, and people, they were accepting the film and understanding it. And a lot of people, they were saying that this is similar to stories that happened with their parents, and they were able to link to it.
Yeah, to connect a little.
Identify.
So
Connect, exactly.
we have a question. It is, what is considered Lebanese cinema to you? And it is only film shot. Is it only film shot in Lebanon, or films by Lebanese outside? So your definition, basically, of Lebanese cinema.
On the production level, we define Lebanese cinema as a film produced or co-produced by Lebanon. Okay. This is on the production level, okay, on the identity level. If we want to give not an identity, yeah, we can say identity in terms of production identity, okay? However, I can say Lebanese cinema for every film that deals with the Lebanese society. From the eyes of Lebanese in Lebanon or Lebanese outside Lebanon. Even there are a lot of Lebanese directors that live abroad, that they produced films that can be considered as a Lebanese film from the perspective of the story identity. However, scientifically and by convention, we agree all that a film takes its identity from the production of the film. So even like A Good Morning is a Lebanese-French production, but it's a Lebanese film because all the story is Lebanese. We have a lot of co-productions in Lebanon because our main funding sources comes from Europe. Mm. The funding sources come from European countries and European festivals, and some from the Arab festivals, Arab countries, Gulf region mainly, like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Qatar. So although we have a lot of co-productions, and we are obliged somehow because of the lack of funding in Lebanon to have co-productions. However, the films are still preserving the identity of a Lebanese film.
Mhm.
During the 90s and early 2000, we were obliged sometimes to use like 40% or 30% French language in the film if the fund comes from France.
Okay.
Now I think it's no more the case, but they are still, sometimes you receive funds from places they ask you to have part of the team or part of the production in the country.
I see.
It depends.
Okay. We have a couple other questions. I'm going to unmute one of the viewers. Her name is Ava. So asked to unmute. There we
Hi,
go.
Eva.
Let's see if we can.
Eva is a journalist.
There we go.
Eva is the media relations of Beirut Film Society.
Hello.
Good evening. Thank you for the interesting talk. First of all, allow me to sincerely express how grateful and lucky we are to have Mr. Lahoud as a mentor. We really appreciate all his efforts for youth and for cinema in Lebanon and abroad. My question is about the latest trends that Lebanese cinema could reap the benefits. And also another question, if you're going to give an advice for youth interested in joining the script writing or filmmaking journey, what would it be? Thank you.
Latest trends. Filmmaking evolves, Eva. Evolves with the technology, with the society, with everything. I expect now that we will have a lot of films shot on mobile or on digital. Now we are moving into the era of digital. And with the economic situation in Lebanon in particular, I think that people won't be able to go to the movies as they used to do regularly before. Now, a lot of cinemas may not open. You know that in Lebanon we have 140 theater hall that projects films. 140 is a very big number for Lebanon. We expect that they may drop to half. And if they drop to half, like a lot of people, they will not be, they won't have accessible theater halls close to their houses. Like cinemas in Bekaa Valley, they may close. They will not be able to pay the rent. And in the south, in the north, we may have a lot of cinemas, and this is a real issue. We will have a lot of cinemas that will close their doors because of the high rent and the low capacity of people for paying the cinema tickets. And they did a small study, like a non-official study in the last weeks, that states that if they want to open and to pay the same rent, the ticket may reach $30. It was $10 before the crisis. So to jump 3 times, I think people won't be able to go. Like if a family wants to go to the cinema and pay just $150 for 5 persons to attend a film, this is impossible. This is impossible. So definitely, we are moving into the digital era. I'm not happy to say this, especially my generation, that we still believe that the cinema should be a contact in the cinema hall and eating popcorn and sitting in this dark place, looking to the screen, the big screen, and interacting and listening, people laughing or screaming. This is part of the experience. Yet, a lot of people, they will start filming for the small screen, and we have to follow definitely the era, the age. You know that in the world now we have 7.7 billion citizens. We sell yearly 3 billion toothbrush, 3 billion. And we sell more than 5 billion phones. So people, they watch social media more than they brush their teeth. So this is an indicator that people should move into digital and business. The future is for digital. Again, I'm not happy to say this, but this is the reality. This is the reality. And regarding the second part of your question, what should I advise people? Of course, you know, in Lebanon mainly, we have a treasure, and everyone wants this treasure, and we are not giving it to anyone. We are keeping it to ourselves. Our treasure is our culture, our multiculturalism, our openness, our education, and our talents in script writing and in film. You know that all the platforms in the Arab world are headed by Lebanese people. All the media platforms, they have Lebanese in the top ranks of the associations. In all TV stations, all production companies, advertising, design, writing, creatives, the Lebanese are everywhere. We have a big treasure, and this treasure should be shared by everyone. We are a treasure for the Lebanese, for the Arab world. You know that the best productions in the Arab world come from Lebanon, from Tunis, from Morocco, from Egypt, and from Syria. So the Arab world and the others, they are thirsty to receive those productions. We are 21 Arab countries, Arab-speaking countries, and 4 or 5 they do good productions in cinema, and they have good, you know, that because the culture, the merge of cultures, the openness, the education, all this influence the quality and the creativity that we are injecting in the industry, and the Lebanese are needed everywhere. So I advise people to go to study script writing, to explore creativity in advertising, in media, and to be ready to share this to the entire world, and mainly to the Arab country or to the countries of the Lebanese and Arab diaspora, wherever there is a Lebanese on the planet. This is one part of the missions of Beirut Film Society. You know, Eva, that we search wherever there is a Lebanese, and then we send them Lebanese films. Watch those films and reconnect with your culture. I hope I answered the question.
Thank you. I hope, there we are. And we have a question from Heba, who asked something very similar. It was regarding the advice for younger people to try to make their way into the industry.
I have to add, yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Heba, I have to add something. This major part of it is taught at the university, at the classroom. But the most part is half of it talent, half of it your own investment in your culture and in yourself. If a filmmaker, before naming her or him a filmmaker, if a person studies filmmaking or audiovisual studies or anything related and stops there, they will fall down directly. They cannot go up. And I always tell my students that this major, the career starts a little bit late. Like we need 5 to 7 years after graduation to start our career. This is why our career starts at age 27, 28 to 30. Before we'll be working everything, we'll be doing everything to prepare for the launch of this career, to prepare for this moment when we had the good opportunity. It may come before. Maybe some people, they start before, but excuse me. But if the normal path, so we have to study at the university, watch a lot of films, read a lot of books, attend a lot of arts galleries, look at paintings, admire life, go crazy, experience everything. There is a long list of what are the things that you have to do that you will end up imperfect. They will ruin your brain maybe. So we have to experience everything in life, and then there is an opportunity that comes, and we start building the career. But the issue is that this career, it doesn't end at retirement. It ends at when we close our eyes for life and open them for the second life. So at this moment, the career of a filmmaker ends. So this is why we have a long career and we have a lot of things to give to the world. Imagine, Hiba, that this quarantine period, we were staying at home without films, without Netflix, without TV, without music. I think people would have gone crazy, all of them.
Thank you, Sam. And one last question from Hiba. It's regarding the opinion you have on film and TV union in Lebanon and its potential impact.
There is no union in. If I received the question well, my opinion about the organizing the craft, you mean, or the union? Huh? This is what I think.
The union of the film and the TV world, bringing it together. I guess like the combination of the two.
Okay, I have to reformulate the idea in my brain. Definitely, okay. TV and cinema are cousins. They are cousins, so they have a lot of common things, but definitely each one has its own school and its own way of production, and there is a big difference in terms of treating both films or TV, telefilm or tele episodes or series. The cinema opens more opportunities to share thoughts and ideas and philosophies and ideologies, and the TV is more oriented or more rating oriented, you know. And the TV, the objective is to bring more rating, to make more money, and to reach the widest audience. And definitely the audience of the TV is couch oriented. We sit and then watch. However, the audience of the cinema is an active audience. We have to stand, to move, to go to a certain place and to buy something and to sit and eat and watch. So it's a little bit different. However, definitely on the professional level, same people, they do the game. It's the same form of production, definitely. I don't know if I'm answering the question well, if I get it well.
I'm going to clarify. So she meant the union as in trade union.
As in?
Trade union.
What do you mean by trade union?
If Hiba would like, Hiba could elaborate if anything. Let's see if she's willing to.
Who's asking?
Hiba.
Hiba, what do you mean, Hiba, by trade union? You can open and speak, please.
I'm trying. Sam, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. قصدي نقابة, like a union. That's what I meant.
Okay. I got it at the first moment, and then I was confused. Hey, شو قصدي؟ شو بدك بالنقابة? What do you want to ask?
The fact that we don't have one that to represent freelancers in our field, and what's your opinion of having one? If it can have a positive impact.
I wish we didn't have, Hiba. I wish we didn't have.
No,
we have one, but
you don't want
working, which is worse.
I don't know, because sometimes freelancers don't get their rights, especially in Lebanon. That's what I'm specifying.
Yes. Hiba, I think the real revolution we need in Lebanon is against syndicates and unions on all levels, everywhere. In all crafts, syndicates are full of corruption, and I'm saying this on my own responsibility, corrupted, lazy, and with short sight, without any vision. And if we had good syndicates and unions in Lebanon for all professions, I think we would have been in a better place. The problem that happened in the 90s, the political regime destroyed all the unions and helped corrupted people to reach it. And the youth, they don't believe in the change, so they didn't involve and they didn't go into the union. And the unions made it difficult for people to join, so they enter whomever they want, and they don't do elections. And when they do the election, they don't announce it. So it's a very long political and professional discussion. In Lebanon, we have a syndicate, and this syndicate, unfortunately, it's folkloric, you know, more than it doesn't do. They don't do their job. At least we are not. At least myself, as a producer and as a professor in film since 25 years, I'm not even. I don't hear about them. At least I should have. If they are doing something, we should know. And the problem is that the youth and the people who are working in the field, they are not getting their rights because they are not, because definitely the situation in Lebanon now, it's very difficult, and financial rights and social rights, they are way behind our priorities, you know. However, we have to be ready after this wave to restart building a new system. I think we have to take something positive out of this crisis, that a new system is being built. A new system of, first, of Lebanizing Lebanon, of promoting for Lebanity, al-Labnana. We have to Lebanize everything, economy, society, our lifestyle, and definitely our salaries. So we have to restudy the society and the economy and define what should be remunerated for people who are working in the field. There is a lot of chaos in this, and the only thing that controls it is the al-ard wa talab. So how much we offer, and the need and the offer. This is it. Definitely, the syndicate is not. They are not doing their work, and I think youth should be more involved. You have to go to become members in syndicates and to do a certain white revolution from inside to change it. And we are all responsible. Even myself, I'm responsible. To be honest, we always discuss this with group of my friends, those who are my age and your generation, the new generation. And we decided like a couple of months ago to launch a conference to talk about the challenges of the craft in Lebanon. And after this conference, to do a lot of pressure on the syndicate to renovate new bloods and to bring in a new generation of fresh graduates and people in their 30s and 40s just to enter and to push new blood in this structure. Let's hope that we can do this in the near future.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you, Heba, for clarifying. I believe we have a couple more questions.
I have a question also here from Hi Love.
Oh, Hi Love.
Hi Sam. She's on Instagram. Hi Love is asking, what do you take with you from each festival you attend internationally?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I take definitely. I take films, and I take a lot of information from seminars and meetings and networking. I take a lot of this, but most of it, I take a lot of human relations. I renew my culture. I widen my perspective. I see things more. I become more tolerant because I see more different people than myself. I see more films from different places. I learn how to accept the different other because I know them better. Once I was a jury member in a festival in Yakutia. Yakutia is a republic in eastern Russia, Yakutsk, Sakha Republic. And I watched films. I watched a film in the jury. It was not very well done because of the low production. However, it speaks about a family that they were stuck at night in the snow, and there it's one of the coldest regions in the world. And if your car stops functioning at night in a certain place, definitely will die. So when they found, there's a family that their car went off in the middle of nowhere at night in the snow at -45. And they discovered them in the morning, all together, like hugging each other and all dead. A girl of 12 years old and a boy of 10 years old, and the father and the mother. and between them, a baby of 2 years that is still alive, because when they hug each other, they kept this baby warm. And it's a true story. And the girl, and they found that the girl, she wrote with her finger on the snow of the plate of every car that passed and didn't stop.
Wow.
And seeing such stories makes you understand that all those 7.7 billion on the planet, we are the same in terms of humanity. We love the same way, we hate the same way. We are equally egoist. We are equally racist when we want, and we are equally, we love, we hate, we cry, we feel pain. So all those emotions, that are the same everywhere. And they have to meet each other to understand the differences between each other and to accept each other. Even in Lebanon, we live in a very small country. I don't know, the person who is living in another city is a little bit stranger for me. So film festivals makes you meet the different other, and makes you become more tolerant, and more you feel how much small you are and how much things you have to learn.
Thank
Still
you.
have to learn.
Thank you. Thank you. We have 2 more questions. So the first one is from Jose. I'm going to unmute him. You would like to ask the question. Should be good.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, José. ¿Cómo estás?
Perfect. Muy bien, gracias. First, thank you for the talking. It was very exciting. It's very cool to hear about the cinema of Lebanon. Sadly, in Chile, we have a little. We don't have many movies or programs from Lebanon, but I'm trying to film a movie or a TV program or anything in Lebanon. And the second is, well, I'm from Chile, so I want to know if you know anything about the cinema of Chile.
In fact, Chile is on the waiting list. I always plan to go and visit, and I'm not finding the good opportunity. I can recall that I watched some films from Chile, but I'm not. I can't remember, because I organize a lot of festivals and we receive some submissions from Chile. However, regarding definitely we want to receive more films from there, and Lebanese contact. And however, the main issue is funding. The main problem is funding and distribution, because they are connected. Investment in Lebanon are very low in the cinema industry. People, they don't trust that this is a profitable industry, and definitely with the size of the economy in Lebanon, very encouraging. So especially in the previous period, before the fall of the economy, a couple of months ago, banks used to give interest rate on money of 17% and 15%. So people, if they have $1 million, they prefer to put it in the bank and get good interest, and they will not invest. Even those who are interested in investing in cinema. And they didn't understand that they are not understanding that investing in cinema is investing in your culture, investing in your youth, you have to put money in cinema in order to make it alive, to keep it alive, in order to open a lot of opportunities for youth, for people who are working in the field. People in Lebanon, they're not understanding business, and it's a. One moment, I have to end the live here to start again, because it's ending. So I'm ending it and okay. So finding the good funds for films, even short films, for short films and for feature films. And then the distribution market is very small. So even if you are investing in the cinema, if you want to invest in the cinema, you know that you will not be able to sell because you know that on Instagram you can just broadcast for 1 hour and then you have to start again. So the return on investment, the market is very small. You cannot distribute except in the Arab world. And the Lebanese government, the Lebanese Ministry of Economy or Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they don't understand the importance of opening new markets with the Arab world. So we don't have agreements with the Arab world of cultural exchange. Like the market in Egypt is 100 million person, and if a Lebanese film is released in Egypt, it will definitely make a lot of good profit. So, and it will cover the investment. However, this is a responsibility of the syndicate, as we were saying now, of the, we don't have a council for audiovisual, like a, we need, of course, like the commission, audiovisual and film commission. We don't have it like in most of the countries. And the Ministry of Culture is absent. They are working politics. And the Ministry of Economy, they don't know that this is part of our economy. And the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they don't understand yet what is meant by cultural diplomacy. So you know that the people is working on cultural diplomacy since years, and until now we didn't introduce the terminology to the ministry. So this is really really bad. You know that our main competitors in the region now, they are using cultural diplomacy as a main tool to promote for their culture and to promote for their films and distribute their films. So if you don't know the paramount importance of those on those levels, so this will make the investment and the fund very, let's say, timid. Yeah, it's shy, very shy. And add to that, that even investors who invest in the Lebanese cinema, they do it once, and then when they find that they will not get a lot of profit, they will get profit, of course, but they have to be patient, because return on investment takes time in cinema. It's not like you can buy something and then sell it very fast and recuperate the money of the certain profit. Sometimes to get back the money, you need 2 or 3 years to sell on different platforms, on airlines, on online platforms, on international distribution. So this is it. So I think this is from one side, and from the second side, there is no laws that protects the craft of filmmaking in Lebanon, and we have a lot of piracy. So we cannot intellectual property. Films can be stolen and copied and on the streets. Once my friend George Khabbaz, he was passing near a restaurant, and there is a boy who was selling him. He told him, I have all the plays of George Khabbaz, $1 each play if you want it. And George Khabbaz told him, I don't have them, give me a copy. So even himself, he didn't have them. How can they steal this and copy them? Piracy, and this is also a very important challenge. And the list continues, Jose. We have a lot of things to work on different levels, organizing the craft, legislations. We need a lot of legislations to give incentives on money, tax incentives on money invested in culture. So we have a lot of things to do, and on the list of priorities, culture is not on the top of the list. Culture comes down. Now in Lebanon, our main priority is how to buy a pack of bread.
Thank you, Sam. I hope that all of the questions were asked. Anyone have any other questions that they would like to add?
إذا حدا عنده سؤال on Instagram, if you have any question also, please don't hesitate.
Sounds good. On my end, I have no more questions from what was sent in. If anyone has anything here. No.
Okay, I want to say.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to add something to end with it. Those faces and names I'm seeing in front of me, those young people, they are the hope of the future of Lebanon and of the world mainly. You are those few who are still can dedicate 1 hour of their time to discuss a topic about culture. If you are dedicating 1 hour of your time to sit and to listen to a person talking and to discuss things related to cinema and culture, definitely you are those who will be the change makers of the future. And Lebanon needs every one of you, every Lebanese person living on this planet. You know, this cultural and emotional and those bonds that we still have with our country. I don't know, sometimes everyone is an adult here, no one under 18, huh? I can swear. So it's a bit of a sexist example, but it's just a joke. Sometimes Lebanon, I say it's like your ex, very sexy, but very bitchy girlfriend. So when you are, or boyfriend. So when you are away from this, you miss her to the maximum, and when you see her, you want to punch her in the face. So, so Lebanon is this contradiction. Whenever we are away, we want to come back and to see Lebanon. And whenever we see this country, we feel that we have a lot of things that we want to punch it in the face. Why are we doing this the bad way? And this is the responsibility of all of us together, and mainly Lebanese, of course, who are still living here and trying to fix the system as much as we can. But definitely those who are abroad, they have a lot of responsibility. We have to give new expertise, new methods to communicate with our fellow Lebanese. How can we, our example, the experience you gained in your countries, and that made you, every Lebanese in every place of the planet, they are contributing in the economy, in the social life, in the political life of their country, of their new countries. And we as Lebanese in our country, we are not being able to rebuild this small geographical spot on the we are even a dot on the map. And we are not able to, you know that in Moscow, there are 4 million persons that enters Moscow and leave it every day. So at night, there are 16 million persons in Moscow, and in the day there are 20 million. And in Lebanon, we are 4 millions, the amount of people entering and going out of Moscow every day, and we are not able to govern this country and to make it a better place. So we count on you, we count on this experience that you gain from wherever you are to push it in the blood of the new Lebanese youth, and hopefully we'll have a better country someday soon.
Thank you, Sam. Thank you so much. We have actually one more question, if that's all right with you.
Yes, Akid.
Okay. His name is Naif min Colombia.
Hi, Sam. This is Najib from Colombia. First of all, I want to thank you for this opportunity. It's great having you here and listening to all your experience with this topic. So I was like stalking your social media, and I saw that within the Beirut Film Society, you promote a queer film festival, and I'm actually very interested in this. Like, what are the attitudes of the Lebanese society towards this kind of content? Do you think there's like a big challenge within like regarding the content you can promote? And do you think that cinema and film has some role in changing social attitudes towards certain social problems, such as gender roles, I don't know, the status of queer people in Lebanon, or the status of migrant workers or refugees? And that's it. Quite the question.
Definitely, Najib, definitely, Akid. Of course, we believe in the power of cinema to make change. We believe in it. It's a kind of like the credo. نؤمن بإله واحد. We believe it's like something that it's even more accurate than credo, because credo may be subjective. Even God, some people can say that God does not exist, but cinema exists, and it has a power to change the societies. It has big power, and it did it. And definitely, as part of the mission of Beirut Film Society, we want to promote for acceptance, for human rights, for tolerance, for love, and for freedom of choice. Definitely. And sometimes, this is why we launched Beirut International Women Film Festival, Beirut International Children and Family Film Festival, short films festivals, a lot of projects like Cinema for Peace, that I want to do it with you. I want to do this project with you. We want, our team in Beirut Film Society are very, very active and very enthusiastic of doing this project with Lebanese people who are living outside Lebanon. And this is what I wanted to discuss with Christina and with most of you. Cinema for Peace. We have a project that we want to do it. We want to fly Lebanese young filmmakers or people interested in cinema to come from all the places in the world and to come to Lebanon to make a summer camp of 15 days to study classes on how to use cinema to promote for peace and for human rights and for tolerance, for love. So this is a film camp for 15 days where we will take classes, either technology classes on camera and on sound and on script writing, or classes on how to promote for peace in our daily literature, on our speech, in our actions. And then we want to put this into films and make short films that can promote for cinema as a tool for peace. You know that now media is promoting for a lot of hatred. If you go on Twitter in Lebanon, you will feel that you want to go out and to make war with everyone. People, they promote for a lot of hatred and a lot of war on social media and in media in general. And we are responsible on to counter-attack, to give another attack, to say, no, we can do better. We can use this medium to do better things. Answering your question, one of the projects we are launching is Beirut Queer Film Festival. In fact, this is a project we are doing consultancy on it as Beirut Film Society, because part of our team, they belong to the queer community. And I don't like to say community because we are all the same, you know, but this is how society put us into categories, you know. So those young men and women, they want to make a film about a film festival that promotes for the freedom of choice, for freedom of identity, you know. And this is the main objective behind it. And hopefully soon we can make this festival a reality. And since we are very aware and we are responsible people, I believe that those group of I trust them very well. They are my students, and I trust that they will do a festival that shows that queer cinema and the queer community is about human rights, not about sexual rights. And this, the problem is in the Middle East that the queer issues are targeted in a sexual way, like how to promote for for sexual freedom. It's not only about sexual freedom, it's about professions, it's about right in the equality in the workplace, it's about respect for ourselves, for our differences in the shape, in the attitude, in the behavior. This respect, we need to educate people on respecting each other. It's not about sexual identity, it's about human identity. And in the Middle East, we are way behind respecting people and respecting their identity. And what better than a film festival to promote for those issues? I think Layla was asking when regarding Layla is on Instagram. Yeah, exactly. I agree, Layla, on what you are saying. When we are still working on it, let's hope we can get funds for the summer camp Cinema for Peace. We did also, if you check Najib, also the Beirut Society, we did a project called Girls for Change, and it was a real success. We did 2 seasons with Syrian refugees and Palestinian and Iraqis and Lebanese people. We merged Syrian refugees and Palestinians with Lebanese girls between age of 14 and 18. They stayed in I think we did 9 sessions in 9 different places in the country, where those girls, they took together 4 days of training on cinema, and they did films, short films, to express themselves and to speak about their fears and their thoughts in films. And those films, they are now turning in film festivals. We did around 12 film festivals with this short series of films. I hope I answered your question, Najib.
Let's see if we can. Here we go.
Yeah.
Yes, Layla. I wish we can.
You did.
Yes, Najib, I'm here.
Sorry, yeah, you did. I'd like to ask you something. So, do you know if there's like content makers, like that are accessible, so that we could, I don't know, watch their films, their shorts on this kind of topics on human rights? I don't know. Like, I'd like to know who are the content makers in Lebanon. So, so to know who to support, who should I watch? I don't know.
Yes. Mainly, Najib, content makers are either film students or young filmmakers that they are doing mainly short films. Unfortunately, those short films are not accessible everywhere. Mostly they are on film festivals or in some online platforms. And those online platforms, they broadcast most of the times in the Middle East, not in the Americas. Or in Australia. So audience in the Americas or in the East, they depend more on film festivals or on initiatives like we are doing now to exchange those films. Again, the Beirut Film Society, we are ready at any moment to give you, to pass you those films. We have a good library, and we have good connections with Lebanese filmmakers. They trust our work, and they give us their films to share them everywhere. And the Lebanese Film Festival in Canada was a very good experience and very good example. It was a success story so far, and we are now trying to copy it to other places.
Thank you so much, Sam. I am going to thank you on behalf of all of us, the board, for giving your time today. You're just beyond passionate, and it just explodes out of you. I love every bit of it, and I'm sure we all did as well. I'm going to share your contacts one more time in the group chat, just in case if anyone has any other questions. Please feel free to reach out to Sam. As you can see, he's very welcoming with any question you may have. So it has just been sent, but I wish you all a great day. And once again, thank you so much, Sam, for your knowledge, your time, and best of luck with whatever's to come. We are super excited to hear about it. So please keep us.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you, Christina, and thank you for the World Lebanese Culture Union, the Youth Association also, for giving me this opportunity to talk with every one of you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Happy weekend.
Thank you. Apparently, you sent the contacts. Okay, great. I'm checking just for the contacts.
Yes, I believe they should be there, right? Can you please send it here too? Yeah, they should be sent. Let me know if no one sees them, though. That's important. I sent them before. Okay.
Thank you كمان لكل الأشخاص اللي تابعونا على انستغرام و thanks ليلى على الاقتراحات. Okay, of course I will talk with you about it to do exchange with Canada. It may be a good idea. we have to talk about it definitely. Thank you. Great. كريستين ثانك يو عن جد بدي اشكرك على الاوبورتونيتي حبيت كثير وان شاء الله يكونوا الكل حبوا
كثير حبوا
ان شاء الله
I mean هلا من هول دول العالم it's so important to get everyone's thoughts, opinions, questions, and I think that's the importance of these types of calls where we can bring this knowledgeable being ومنخلي كل to hear what you have to say, what you have to share, because it's not every day we hear someone with this amount of knowledge in this field. So thank you كتير والله, it's a pleasure. We really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you everyone. بعده موجودين. هبة ميرسي على سؤالك، وإذا بدك بنحكي بالنسبة للنقابة later.